Welcome to the Crimson Tide Production Studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium for another episode of Tide TV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by my co-host Kenzie Hughes, and as we just saw, a lot of winning this past weekend for Alabama.
A lot of winning. We got #1 upsets. We've got national tournaments. We've got everything. Wow, what a weekend to be a Crimson Tide fan, Roger. Football rolled over their in-state rival in the Iron Bowl. Soccer made it to the Final Four and the College Cup. Men's basketball took down the #1 team in the country, the North Carolina Tar Heels.
After their trip to the Bahamas during Thanksgiving week, the Alabama women's basketball team returned home for a couple of games here in Tuscaloosa this past week.
A trip I wouldn't mind going on, by the way. The first was against Gardner-Webb this past Sunday in Coleman Coliseum, as Alabama used a huge first period to take control of the game.
Touchdowns. Young also rushed for 48 yards, including a 5-yard run for the Crimson Tide's first score of the game.
A lifelong player of the week, I think. And Will Anderson Jr. was a force on the defensive side. Anderson finished with 5 tackles, including a game-high 3 tackles for loss, and another game-high with 2 sacks to go along with 2 quarterback hurries. Goodness gracious, that's a mouthful. A great week to be a Crimson Tide fan, Roger, and congratulations to all of our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week.
Thanks for watching. We hope to see you back here next week for another episode of Tide TV This Week. Hopefully a lot more wins as well.
A lot of wins and a lot more records broken, right? Big Roll Tide to that.
Big Roll Tide to that, and thanks for watching Tide TV This Week. Roll Tide.
A whole lot of yards. Now we're moving to the Palmetto Bowl. We've got 8th-ranked Clemson taking on Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks. Clemson's Antonio Williams back to receive, and a fumble breaks out. Loose ball recovered by Nick Emanwari, and he secures the win, breaking a 7-year losing streak.
Huge win for South Carolina. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the game. This has been a Barkley GMZ Studio Update.
Roll Tide.
Kenzie, and this year's SEC Championship sweep was the first in program history for the Alabama men's and women's cross-country teams.
Insanely impressive, and those two and the one from soccer make it 3 SEC championships already this year. Alabama really is a championship school, right?
Yeah, Nate Oates said it best just a few years ago.
Alabama opened the second half with another touchdown. This one by Jace McClellan was his second of the game and gave the Crimson Tide a 42-14 lead. The Tigers answered with a touchdown and a couple of field goals, but Jahmyr Gibbs put the exclamation point on this Iron Bowl with a 23-yard touchdown run as Alabama dominated Auburn for their 3rd consecutive Iron Bowl win, 49-27.
The first college football playoff rankings were released on Tuesday, and that is the ranking that matters.
Ain't that the truth, Roger? The top 4 move on to the college football playoff, and there's still a little over a month to play, so we got some time. But this initial ranking gives us a little insight as to what the committee's thinking, Roger. And as Lane Kiffin said before last year's kickoff, get your popcorn ready.
How'd that work out? It should be a good one next Saturday in Oxford.
I know y'all can't see me, but I'm hitting the waddle,
now
right?
We can see you.
We saw a lot of that this weekend. Jalen Waddle caught 8 of his 9 passes from Tua for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. So those were our ATI Plays of the Week. Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week brought to you by Legacy of Hope. And it was Halloween on Monday, so before we say goodbye, we'd like to share a spooky little Halloween cheer with you.
We really would. The Crimson Tide student athletes held a Halloween extravaganza for local kids here in Tuscaloosa to have a safe place to trick-or-treat, also have fun on Halloween.
Speaking of quarterbacks calling their own number, moving to Auburn and UGA, you see Stetson Bennett taking off. The second-rate Bulldogs are causing some problems for Coach Harsin's Auburn Tigers, and Stetson Bennett's leading the charge because it runs like bees. 64 yards all the way home. Georgia's up on this one.